Hello friends, this is Worm, according to the source material, and today we are back from a brief 2-day long hiatus, and we are trying to build hype for next season, because next season is literally happening tomorrow. The Lightfall reveal is happening tomorrow, but I think that I speak for many of you that are watching this video that the Destiny hype has really kind of gone down, especially over the past few weeks, sorry. It's no secret. I've said it in other videos. I'm not playing Destiny as much. I'm playing some other games right now. And we know that towards the end of the season, it kind of gets like this. You know, it kind of gets to a point where it's like, hey, Destiny, it's kind of the same old. We got all the exotics and armors and weapons and craftables and stuff like that we want. So we kind of just maybe regress a little bit from the game. Not saying we hate it, not saying we quit, but we just stop playing as much because it's kind of just the same old thing. And of course, when a new season starts, tomorrow, we get back into it. However, I think the big difference here is that this season, I'm really not super hype for next season. And I don't know if it's because the final shape reveal is tomorrow, and I'm nervous because of, you know, the whole Lightfall incident, which was really hyped up and then it was really bad. I really don't know what it is, but I can tell you this, my hype is not quite near what it should be, I feel like. So the point of today's video is to talk about the stuff that's changing and coming to the game to hopefully build that hype, get us excited for it. So I figured I'd bring you guys along with me on the conversation. I've got Google pulled up over here because we're gonna be looking at some stuff that I definitely know I want to talk about. But let's dive right into it. And the first thing that I am super excited for, of course, is the new exotic weapons that are coming next season. Now, we know for sure we are getting at least 2 new exotic weapons. One of them will be from the season pass, no surprise, and the other one will be from the reprised raid, which we'll talk about the reprised raid here in just a second because that reminds me. But I want to talk about just the new exotics. It's always so good to get new exotic weapons and new exotic catalysts, which again, we'll talk about a catalyst in a second too. But in terms of new weapons, it is very, very exciting to get them, you know. And the last 2 seasons, we got Verglaw Curve, the bow, the stasis bow, which was actually a pretty decent weapon, definitely great for stasis builds. This season, we got the arc auto rifle, which is a centrifuge, that's what it is, which is an insanely fun gun. Not broken or busted by any means, but it's very, very fun, very powerful, and the catalyst just kicks it up to 11. Those weapons were super hype. Very, very excited for them. Of course, we also got this season, we got Wicked Implement, which Wicked Implement, I know people have different thoughts on it. I think for what it is, it's pretty decent. And the fact that it's going to be getting a headstone in its catalyst next season, I am, we get all these new weapons. So it's always exciting to get new weapons. Now for the seasonal weapon, the last at least 2 seasons, we've got primary ammo weapons. We got a bow, and of course we got an auto rifle. I could see Bungie going with maybe a special or a heavy next season. I think it's been a hot minute since we've had a heavy weapon from the season pass. The last one that I can clearly remember was Grand Overture, and that's been several seasons ago. So I wouldn't be surprised if we maybe get a heavy next season. Maybe like a heavy strand weapon would be kind of cool, but I don't know. We'll just kind of have to see. But of course, the other exotic weapon we know for sure we're going to be getting is from the reprised raid, and we're going to detail more about that in just a second. But yeah, exotics, I'm excited for new exotics. I'm excited. I have the season pass, so I'm going to get the exotic day 1, get it tested out and stuff like that. So a lot of fun, looking forward to that substantially. But I want to move on from the exotics that we're getting, exotic weapons, to the exotic armor pieces. We are looking at potentially getting 3 more armor pieces, 1 for each class. This current season, Season of the Deeps, the armor pieces that we got from it really weren't all that exciting. I mean, like Arbor Warden, it's Arbor Warden, man. Like it's not the best. It's got niche utility. I don't use it very much. But it's great to get new exotic pieces of armor, and next season we're probably looking at getting new exotic pieces of armor. Now, we could always have a situation like a couple seasons ago. I think maybe it was Season of the Plunder where we didn't get any exotic armors, or maybe it was Season of the Seraph. We didn't get any new exotic armors. I hope Bungie does not go that route again, because that was disappointing. Like, it's always good to get new exotic armors, even if they're not the best. Things like Arbor Warden. sorry, I'm a Titan main, so Arbor Warden's my go-to, but when it comes to referring to exotics, of course. But Arbor Warden, it's very niche. It's neat. It's fun to play with. It has some really cool utility. Not the best, but again, it adds another level of play that we get to play around with and test, you know? And that's, I'm sorry. I've been having some stuff in my throat. God, I might, hold on. I think it's gone. Let me get a drink real quick. But Arbor Warden, not the best, but hey, it's always great to get new stuff to play with, man. New stuff to play with is so much fun. But moving on from exotics, exotic armors and weapons, I want to talk about exotic catalysts. Of course, we already know the elephant in the room. Monte Carlo's getting an insanely cool catalyst that will allow you to actually use the bayonet on the end of the gun, which is super awesome. I am incredibly hyped for that because I've got several Monte Carlo builds, you know, Thunderclap and stuff like that. So I am very much looking forward to that buff. It's going to be interesting to see how it works. Like if you have to have ×5 stacks of Markov chain, sorry, had to itch my ankle. If you have to have ×5 stacks of Markov chain, or if you have to have, you know, if you can just activate it whenever, can you shoot it, or do you have to like switch between? Because in the little tiny clip that we got here, let me see if I can pull it up over here for us. In the little bitty tiny clip that we got, we only saw basically here it is. We saw like it was at ×5 stacks, and it did like that kind of the animation like when you switch fire modes for different guns, right? Here it is right here. Okay. Sorry, let me full screen it. So let me make it high definition for y'all too. Okay. All right, I'm gonna full screen it here. Pull it up. Let's take a look at it. Of course, the player gets a kill, gets a melee kill, gets 5 stacks. There's a timer on it too. That's kind of a big deal. I wonder if that timer is going to actually represent the damage boost that you get from Markov chain, or if it's just how long you have to activate the actual like special melee effect. But let's watch that one more time. Every time I watch it, I get super hyped for it. But the cool, like when it switches over, I want to know if it can be fired. Right, because knowing Bungie, I think that there is a good possibility that while it's in its like bayoneted like form or whatever, like where you can stab things, you're not going to be able to like shoot the gun, which I hope is not the case. I hope that, you know, Bungie will allow us, like maybe at 5 stacks, it changes your standard melee ability into that Monte Carlo melee, and you can still shoot, but you can stab, shoot, stab, shoot, stab, stuff like that. That would be wonderful. I would love to see it, but you know, it's one of those things. We'll just have to see once it happens. But yeah, super excited for that. Of course, we already talked Wicked Implement is getting headstone to its catalyst, which I don't know why Bungie didn't think to do that, like, you know, from the get-go, but whatever. It's cool. I'm excited for it. It'll make it just a little bit more useful and stuff like that. But moving on from there, we got to talk about the Reprise raid, because I am very, very excited to see which one it is. I'm also kind of nervous too, because I know for sure there's a really good chance it's not going to be the raid that I want it to be, which is Wrath of the Machine. I want it to be Wrath of the Machine so bad, but I know it's not, and we'll talk about why in a second. But from a realistic standpoint, I think the most likely like the Reprise raid that we're going to be getting is it's going to be Crota's End, and I say that because, you know, that's the first of all, that's the only raid that we don't have that does not have its exotic currently in the game, right? Wrath of the Machine. I don't think it'll be Wrath of the Machine, because Wrath of the Machine, the exotic weapon that you got from Wrath of the Machine, Destiny 1 raid, was Outbreak Prime, which is now Outbreak Perfected in Destiny 2. Like, it's literally the same weapon, right? So I don't know. It's let me pull up the raid gear here. Here we go. It's yeah, I don't see us getting Wrath of the Machine. Same thing, Leviathan. We already have the what's that super shotgun called? I can't remember the name of it, but the shotgun you get from the Leviathan, we already have that existing in the game currently. What's another raid we haven't got back? Crown of Sorrow, you know, Taraba is in the kiosk. Like, all these exotics are in the kiosk. Crota's Inn is the only raid that we don't have the exotic for in Destiny 2 in any way, shape, or form. Okay, and so I am very, very I'm gonna say I'm excited, but I'm also like cautiously optimistic about Crota's Inn coming in here. But Crota's Inn is more than likely going to be the raid, so let's take a look at Crota's Inn. Crota's Inn was notorious for being the easiest raid to solo, right? Or to do like a 3-mans and 2-mans and stuff like that. It was a notoriously easy raid. I mean, literally up until Crota himself, it was a cakewalk to to get through it. And then Crota himself, it was pretty easy to do, solo Crota as well, and not through the means of like cheesing and glitching and stuff like that. I mean, I guess you could say a little bit of cheese. We'll talk about that in a second, but it was very easy. I'm sure that if it comes back, Bungie's going to beef up that difficulty a lot, right? Like there's no way they don't, pull that difficulty level up, because it needs to be difficult. Like we need challenge in Destiny 2 raids, right? And we can't have challenge if we have, things like Crota's End without being fixed coming back. But Crota's End, of course, consisted of 4 parts. It was the pit, which was arguably probably like my favorite part. And basically, when you're down in the pit, you would walk through complete darkness from lamp to lamp, and the lamps are similar to the lamps that you see in like the Witch Queen strike. I can't remember the name of it. The Birthplace of the Vile. You go to those lamps to lose your darkness stacks. So that mechanic is already in the game. Same thing, you would go from lamp to lamp, and you just have like endlessly spawning Thrall, Curse Thrall, and knights with like swords, right? Coming at you, and you had to stand near the lamp, and after X amount of duration, the lamp would detonate. And if your teammates got left behind, they kind of got left behind. I mean, at times 10 stacks, I mean, you can't run, you can't walk fast. There's a lot that happens, and so it was a very fun part. And then of course, when you get to the end of it, you are absolutely swarmed with all kinds of Thrall, knights, and ogres coming at you, stuff like that, which was very fun. The next part, of course, was like the bridge area, where you had to basically construct a bridge, cross it, and you cross it, and you had to do that for each of your teammates. Pretty simple, stuff like that. Then the next one was the Death Singers, which I don't entirely remember how to do the Death Singers, but you had to kill basically 2 wizards, kind of like in the King's Fall raid right before Oryx. And then of course, finally, you faced off against Crota himself. And Crota was a very interesting boss, because Crota, it was not about how much damage you could do. It was really down to one person, and that was the Sword Bear, right? Because the lore behind Crota is that he could only be killed with his own sword, blah, blah, blah. And so basically you took a sword off of an enemy, and you break his shields, you cut him down, stuff like that. Again, it could be done solo. How are they going to revamp it? I have no idea. I think the biggest thing that they're going to have to do, of course, when they do revamp it, is give everybody else something to do in that final boss room, right? Because I remember in Destiny 1, if you weren't the sword bearer, literally your only job was just to kill ads and then shoot the boss whenever the sword bearer said it's time to shoot the boss. Like, it was brainless stuff. Like, it was so easy to do. So I don't like it's got to be changed somehow. I don't know how they're going to change it, but we'll see. And the next question is, of course, is Crota going to be the final boss, or are they going to sub out Crota for like Xivu or Wrath or something like that? Like, is it just going to be completely ported over, or is it going to be refreshed and made new and stuff like that? But of course, the reason why we all do the raid is for the loot, and the loot is very, very questionable, right? I will say this. The legendary weapons are kind of ugly. The armor also kind of ugly, but it also has it has a hive theme to it, which I'm kind of excited, because I feel like we're getting a lot of hive themed armor lately, which mixes very, very well with the lucid shader and some of the exotic ornaments we have. The worm husk crown ornament, the worm husk crown ornament, acolytes, whatever, I can't remember the name of it. The Helm of Saint 14 ornament looks fantastic with hive theme stuff. Like, there's all kinds of really cool like combos that you can do with hive themed stuff. But the armor itself is kind of I'm not the biggest fan of it. Maybe we see them bring it back as the Age of Triumph ornaments that we got, which the Age of Triumph ornaments looked fantastic for the Crota's End armor. but I think it's just one of those things we'll have to see. The Warlocks definitely did look the best. You know, the helmet looked really cool for Warlock, not gonna lie. The robes also literally looked like the robes like a wizard wears, which is pretty cool. Let me see if I can find them here on Google. Let's see here. Where's the loot? Gaining loot. No. Okay, armor. Here we go. Warlock, Death Singer's Mantle. I'm gonna pull up a picture of it real quick if I can. Yeah. Oh, we are not gonna get to see the whole thing. This is what it looks like though. Like the robes down here at the bottom looked. I mean, they looked literally like a wizard's robes, you know. So that was that's one that I am of course very excited for. Let's see here. While we got this up over here, let's pull up the helmet for the Warlock too, because the helmet, same thing. The helmet looked really cool. Like there you go. This is what it looks like. Helmet looked fantastic, and I think in Destiny 2 it'll look fantastic as well. The one question I have is, are they going to do anything with the face here? Like I've noticed some armors that were like black in Destiny 1, they have kind of like that, like I don't know, like that smoky like screen effect over it. I kind of hope they leave it just plain black, because that looks crazy good. Right, that looks crazy good. I don't remember what the armor for the hunter looked like. It must have been pretty forgettable. Let's look at the helmet first. Oh, actually, no, the helmet looks pretty good for the hunter. Not gonna lie, the helmet looks good. I know the Titan's is weird. It has like 3 eyes, like right in the middle, and they're tiny. But who cares about the armor, right? Let's talk weapons here. Of course, weapon number 1 that we have to talk about. Sorry if I am lagging. There's a bunch of ads on this thing. My ad block is not blocking all the ads that it probably should be blocking. So if I'm kind of lagging, I apologize. At any rate, the exotic Necrochasm. Cool, man. If Crota's End is the returning raid, which let's be honest, it probably is, I am super excited to see what they do with Necrochasm, because Necrochasm in Destiny 1 was a really cool gun. It had a really cool, you know, idea behind it, but I didn't think that it was as powerful as it could have been. So what was the exotic perk on Necrochasm in Destiny 1? And that was, I don't remember the name of it, but basically anytime you got a kill with a weapon, precision or non-precision, right? Anytime you got a kill, it would cause a Cursed Thrall explosion wherever that enemy was. So you fight in Vex, right? On Nessus, right? Where there's no Thrall or no Hive at all, and you get a kill, you're gonna hear that Hive, that Cursed Thrall explosion, which was really awesome. And it, of course, Cursed Thrall explosions damage everything around it, which is really awesome. Of course, in Destiny 1, it was not. I didn't feel like it was as powerful as it could have been or should have been, and so hopefully in Destiny 2 it'll be super powerful. Necrochasm, I think I forgot to mention, is an exotic auto rifle. Now the big question is, will Bungie bring it in as a auto rifle, or will they change it to an SMG? I think realistically speaking here, it's going to be an auto rifle. It's going to be a 720 auto rifle, right? I don't see Bungie changing the whole archetype of the weapon to be an SMG. I could be wrong in that, but maybe it will be an SMG. I don't know. Maybe it will be an SMG, but very much looking forward to it. Also, I think the potential that its strand is set up perfect, because Necrochasm, if you don't remember, let me actually pull up Necrochasm over here. Where is Necrochasm? Somewhere in here. No, those are all the legendaries. Fine, we'll just look it up over here. Necrochasm shot like these green, like tracer rounds, kind of, right? Like it was pretty cool. It had this green glowing effect on it. Yeah, here we go. Let's see. There you go. That's Necrochasm for you. This is what it looked like, you know, at its base form. Kind of ugly. It really was, but this is an ornament that it had back in Destiny 1. I would love to see this ornament come back as well, because the ornament looked insane. Maybe they make that the base model, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. But yeah, that was Necrochasm. I'm so excited. I really can't wait to get my hands on that if Crota's End is the returning raid. But moving on to the legendary weapons from the raid, the Crota's End raid. Of course, back in Destiny 1, you got 1 per archetype, I guess, of weapon, right? You had, let's see here, Oversoul Edict was Pulse Rifle, Abyss Defiant was the Auto Rifle, Word of Crota was the Hand Cannon, and Fang of Irut was the Scout Rifle. For special weapons, you had, let's see here, where is it? Light of the Abyss and Swordbreaker, and of course Black Hammer, we'll talk about Black Hammer in a second. We're going to start with Black Hammer because obviously Song of Ir Yût and Hunger of Crota were the two heavies. It was a machine gun and a rocket launcher. Of course, in Destiny 2, we don't get all those back. We only get 2 from each type, 2 primary, 2 special, and 2 heavy weapons. So obviously heavy weapons, we're going to get Hunger Crota, Song of Ir Yût, their solar rocket launcher, and a arc machine gun. Maybe they change them up though. Maybe we see some strand added in here, which would be really cool. But I got to talk about Black Hammer because Black Hammer was it was a namestay in Destiny 1. Black Hammer, for those of you who don't know, in Destiny 1 was basically what Black Spindle is, or Whisper of the Worm is in legendary form, right? When Crota's Inn first came out, it was first launched, Black Spindle would, every time you hit, let's see here, perk White Nail, landing 3 precision shots would reload the magazine, and the magazine only had 3 in it. Of course, what made it insane, when you landed 3 precision shots, it reloaded the magazine from thin air. So consider you have, let's say you have 15 rounds, right? And you constantly land crit after crit after crit. You're going to have 15 rounds forever. And if you happen to miss a crit, you can reload. You still have 14 rounds to hit just 3 crits in a row. It was absolutely insane. And then it had mulligan on it too, I think. So mulligan, if you missed a shot and it didn't hit the target, it would had a chance to refund it. It was an insanely good weapon. I'm really not surprised they nerfed it. Whisper of the Worms now will give you 2 rounds like from thin air, but still not the same as original Black Hammer. Now, Black Hammer, of course, it's got to come back. I don't see it not coming back. That was like the reason everybody did Crota's End. Like that was the Hunger of Crota was a budget Galahorn, which was cool. Word of Crota, if I'm not mistaken, I think people did it for the Crucible, but Black Spindle was what you wanted. It's what everybody wanted, right? And so Black Hammer, I'm sorry, oh my gosh, there's been so many iterations of this weapon. It is Black Hammer. So I think that Black Hammer definitely is going to be making a return. In terms of the other 2 special weapons, of course, Light of the Abyss, which is fusion rifle, and Swordbreaker, which was the shotgun. I think it's probably more likely we see Light of the Abyss come back because we just got a shotgun with, what's it called? Root of Nightmares. Didn't get a fusion rifle with Root of Nightmares. But yeah, I think Black Spindles and Light of the Abyss will be the 2 that come back for the special weapon category. And of course, for primaries, there's no way, right? There's no way they don't bring back Word of Crota, which was a void hand cannon in Destiny 1. And here's why I say this. Word of Crota being a void hand cannon in general, void 140 hand cannon is so desperately needed for our meta right now. Like the only 2 void hand cannons I can even think of in Destiny 2 that are legendary 140s are Palindrome, which you can't get anymore, and Exalted Truce, which come next season you won't be able to get it anymore. Like I literally cannot think of any other legendary 140 round per minute void hand cannons. If you think of some, put them in the comments below, because of course I've forgotten. Now I know we have targeted redaction. It's a 120. I know that we have some other void hand cannons, but they're not in that 140 category, and everyone loves 140 round per minute hand cannons. They're kind of the best, right? They are the most versatile, blah blah blah. So Word of Crota coming back as a void hand cannon, 140 rounds per minute, I think is absolutely a must. Plus, I don't remember the last time we got a hand cannon in a raid. I think it was with King's Fall, and we got Zauli's Bane. But I don't know exactly, but I think Word of Crota will for sure be coming back. And then the other one, I don't really know. I think Fang of Ir Yût, in terms of like what we haven't really gotten lately, which is a scout rifle. Fang of Ir Yût had a really cool perk on it in Destiny 1, which would actually, when you damage it, would mark the target. So any target that you shot and you were shooting would be marked like with this green line above them, right? And it was super cool because your teammates could be like, oh, hey, we need to team up on this guy, which, for this particular raid, finding specific enemies to kill them is kind of pivotal. So that's really cool, and I think that Fang of Ir Yût is the most likely to come back for the reason that we haven't had a scout rifle in a hot minute. And I think if Fang of Ear-Ute does come back, it'll be a 150 because I don't actually remember the archetype of it. But I think, and let me see if it'll tell us here. Fire rate 37. What is a 37 fire rate? I don't know what a 37 fire rate is, but I'm pretty sure it was a 150 in Destiny 1, and we have yet to have a raid 150 round per minute scout. We've got a 260, we've got a couple of 180s, but we don't have any 150 raid scouts. Again, I hope I'm not wrong when I say that. But if I am, just correct me in the comments. But yeah, that's Crota's End, the armor, the weapons, stuff like that we could potentially get from it. I'm looking forward to Crota's End, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see. But moving on from the raid and exotics, the next thing I am very excited for is, of course, just new content, right? New content. This includes new stories, a new kind of storyline, which I'll be honest here. Season of the Deep had a fantastic storyline. It was just really, really short, and it didn't feel great because of how short it was, right? Like it was not at all the best here. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. It was not at all the best, like, in terms of gameplay, right? Like, obviously we had fun, because it's new content, and the storytelling itself was great. Like having Sloane come back was really awesome. The whole thing with Asa, the giant fish thing, very, very cool ideas. Like I loved it. But the storyline itself, it was like 6 or 8 weeks, which was super short, right? I think it was like 6. Super short. And then on top of that, it wasn't very engaging. And I know I'm not asking Bungie for like a whole storyline with custom missions like we got with Lightfall or Witch Queen or stuff like that. But like, man, like, hey, go do this seasonal activity, then go to the helm, talk to this person, then go do this seasonal activity, then go to the helm, talk to this person. Like that gets old. I hope that we just get a little bit more in terms of the story content. But in terms of the seasonal content, I am praying that we get something like deep dives again, because deep dives, I think, is probably one of the best, if not the best, like, seasonal activity we've ever gotten in Destiny 2. 3-man seasonal activity we've ever gotten in Destiny 2. It was great because the enemy density was fantastic. You could level the difficulty up or scale the difficulty up if you wanted to. But it never felt like it was not possible to complete it, right? Like it was a lot of fun. It will be missed. I'm not going to lie. It's going to be missed because, again, I liked it. I like deep dives. So I hope we see something like that again. We also got salvage, and salvage is not good. It's so boring to do salvage. And here's my recommendation, I guess, to Bungie, right? Bungie, when you're making 6-man activities, do not be afraid to overwhelm us with ads, right? With stuff to kill. Because one of the issues I have with salvage is, there's one part you're on the rig and there's Fallen coming and they come get dropped off in their ships. I think 3 ships come at a time. Maybe it's 4. They drop off their one load of like 5 or 6 enemies. And then it takes like 15 seconds or 20 seconds for the next bunch to come in. If you're doing it as a 3-man group, yeah, that's probably pretty good. But as 6 people, especially when one grenade, literally just one grenade, can wipe out that entire bunch of enemies, it's not a lot of fun. So don't hesitate to amp up the enemy density. And I know this the next season's already done. Like what we're getting is in the game. It's ready to come out tomorrow. Bungie can't do anything about it. But I'm just saying I hope that is what we get. I'm kind of hyped because I think that Bungie every season is doing something a little bit differently. Hopefully we'll see this with a 6-man activity, or maybe we won't see a 6-man activity. Maybe we'll see something more like a public event style, situation like we had on not necessarily Neomuna. Neomuna had the terminal overload, which is basically like a big old public event kind of thing. That's also pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on the new content in terms of actual playable content. Of course, we're also getting a host of new Nightfalls, Grandmasters, not brand new, but, you know, a refresh on Grandmasters. So hopefully we see some really good strikes in here this season. Season of the Deep had some fantastic lineups for me. Like, I love Sepix Prime. I love Navota. What else? There's a lot of strikes that I love. And sometimes we get seasons where the Grandmaster is kind of just bleh, right? Hopefully next season, I'm looking forward to next season, see which Grandmasters we get. So I am hyped for that. But outside of that, you know, we've touched on content. We've touched on the reprise raid, exotics. Of course, I'm also looking forward to seeing the armor sets that we're going to get. I'm going to stop you right there because I know somebody's going to say it. I have seen the seasonal armor set that Bungie posted a picture of, or somebody posted a picture of it, and it's very druid-esque, which I think is very, very neat. Not my most favorite armor set just by looking at it, but the hunter set looks pretty darn cool, and I think that it's cool that we have some very unique armor to actually play with. You know, like this season we got that whole underwater theme, which was cool, but the armor itself looked kind of bland, in my opinion. If it, you know, next season with us getting that druid tree plant stuff like that thing going, that's really cool. Thank goodness Arbor Warden will now finally have a wonderful armor set to go with it. But I am looking forward to that set. Of course, the ornaments from the season pass are also, I'm very excited to see. Like, I want to see what they look like. This season's ornaments, my opinion, looked really, really good for the most part. I didn't care for the Warlock helmets, which was, I did not like the Warlock helmet, but the Warlock robes looked absolutely fantastic. The whole Hunter set looks insanely good, especially the Hunter cloak and the Hunter mask and the Hunter chest piece. All those look really, really good. So I'm very excited to see what the armor set is going to look like next season. The ornament set is going to look like next season. So that's another thing I'm excited for. I guess finally, we got to talk about Eververse and the new stuff we're going to be getting with Eververse, which I know Eververse is kind of a sensitive topic for some, but next season we will be able to, if things go the way they've been, I guess, planned or been going, next season we should get the 3 shaders that were silver only this season as Bright Dust purchases, right? So Dream Cycle, Solar, I can't remember what the actual name of it, but it's that golden, like, Vex themed one, and then the iridescent aquatic fish, underwater fish thing. Sorry, fish looking shader. All those should come to the Eververse store, so I'm excited to get those. Of course, new ornaments. I'm praying and hoping that Verity's Brow finally gets a sexy ornament, because Verity's Brow is hands down the ugliest exotic armor piece in the game. So hopefully we'll see a really cool ornament for that. But really, just the ornaments that we're gonna get. We're gonna get 2 for each subclass, or each class. I'm sorry. I'm sure. I don't even know what I hope to get, you know, from each one. Like, I hope Verity's Brow is one of the ones that gets an ornament that looks better than what it does now. But we'll have to see, but I am looking forward to those. I'm also looking forward to the ornaments that exotic weapons will get, because especially, like, if we get something like Dreaming Clarity, like we got with Dreaming Clarity for Monte Carlo, it's going to be, we're going to be cooking. We are going to be cooking, man. Like, I'm definitely looking forward to that stuff. Also, of course, looking forward to the new shaders we're going to be getting. That's kind of where I'm going to close out this 33-minute long video. Looking forward to seeing the new shaders, because fashion is the true in-game of Destiny. But with that being said, I want to hear, what are you guys most excited for? Like, did this video help kind of bring some hype? Because I don't know about y'all, but I am definitely hyped for tomorrow. I just really hope the servers hold up. I really hope the servers hold up, because you know, the past several seasons, on day 1, on launch day, the servers are down till like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's, yeah, you know, blah blah blah. In terms of tomorrow's content, I don't know if we're gonna have anything. We'll have to see if we're even able to play the game. If not, I'll come up with some hot BS that we can talk about, kind of like I did today. But yeah, I mean, I'm after sitting here and talking about this, I'm very excited for next season, and I hope that you guys are too. I hope the season is better than Season of the Deep was. But we'll have to see. Oh, I totally forgot to mention the reason, you know, I think that, hold on, we need to talk about something else. Next season is going to be, I would assume, featured in the Witch Queen's Throne World, Savathun's Throne World, because all the kind of small drops that Bungie has given us indicates that that's where it's going to be taking place. That's why I think Crota's Inn is going to be the most likely raid as well, because we have a hive theme season coming up. So, you know, Crota's Inn. And just a quick reminder, we did a video covering a leak a couple weeks ago, and we didn't cover it because it was a leak, but we covered it because it would be kind of like one of those things where, hey, it'd be really cool if we got, you know, all the stuff that this person's talking about. And I gotta say, based on everything Bungie said so far, that leak and that video that we did talking about it seems to be a pretty, I mean, it seems to be pretty accurate so far. So, you know, it is still leaks, you know, so I'm not gonna hold out hope, but it's very accurate. So I'd recommend you go check out that video. I'll try to link it so that it'll pop up on the end screen, as well as, you know, whatever YouTube thinks you like. But yeah, that's it for me. Sorry, got kind of off topic with that, but I'm looking forward to next season. I'm looking forward to getting the armors, the exotics, like all that stuff, trying out new things, new builds. Of course, we have our nerfs and buffs coming to Strand and other subclasses. So yeah, be on the lookout for those. But with that being said, like I said, let me know what you're hyped for in the comments. Hopefully this video got you hyped. If it did, drop a yeehaw in the comments. I don't know. Yeah, drop a yeehaw in the comments if it got you hyped. But yeah, we are back to our regular content. So I will see y'all tomorrow at whatever time. Do me a favor, like the video, it helps out the channel a lot. Subscribe for more daily Destiny content. And of course, watch the videos you see on the end screen, because for whatever reason, YouTube thinks you will like them. Guys, I'll see y'all on the next one.